God save the United States and this honorable court.
The Supreme Court examines a case, Carson versus Makin, that could have major implications for religious freedom and school choice. In Maine, a vastly rural state, not all public school districts have secondary schools. So the state offers tuition assistance to parents, allowing their children to attend private schools. But there are requirements. Maine says it must be a non-sectarian school in accordance with the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. That is now being challenged at the High Court.
Maine's sectarian exclusion discriminates based on religion. Like all discrimination based on religion, it should be subjected to strict scrutiny and held unconstitutional.
During oral argument Wednesday, Michael Bendez, an attorney arguing on behalf of two families from Maine, says the court should follow precedent set in previous cases, including one last year when the court ruled public education funds in Montana could go to private schools. Writing the majority opinion, Chief Justice John Roberts said then, a state need not subsidize private education, but once a state decides to do so, it cannot disqualify some private schools solely because they are religious. The state of Maine argues their case is different.
The state is allowed to use its pocketbook to promote the values that it has decided it wants to promote. And so this is a spending program, and what Maine wants to advance is religious neutrality. We want schools to be neither for nor against any particular religion.
Christopher Taub, Maine's Chief Deputy Attorney General, says the tuition restriction doesn't apply to schools that have a religious status, only those where religious values are instilled. But the Institute for Justice, the law firm representing the parents in this case, is questioning that line of distinction.
You have to look at the underlying motivation here. Why would they try to draw this line? They're drawing this line to exclude religious schools. And they're hostile to religion in this context.
Supreme Court justices weighed in Wednesday. Turning attention away from the state, Justice Elena Kagan was critical of some of the Christian schools referenced in the case, saying their school policies discriminate against homosexuals.
I mean, these schools are overtly discriminatory. They're proudly discriminatory. Other people won't understand why in the world their taxpayer dollars are going to discriminatory schools.
Justice Samuel Alito questioning why Maine prevents tuition assistance from going to religious schools now, when for decades that wasn't the case.
Maine didn't rule out these schools until, for many, many years, the parents were permitted to send their children to those schools.
And we spoke to Alana Stevenson, a Catholic school principal in Maine, who has had to turn away some students because Maine's program will not assist them.
Occasionally we have parents who just can't afford the tuition dollars and the agreements that we need on our end. So, it's a hard conversation to have.
Mark Irons, EWTN News in Depth.